In the darkest days of the Cold War, where nuclear threats and spies dominated headlines, both the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a secret arms race, not just of weapons or technology, but of the mind. This is the story of Operation Stargate, the US military's top-secret program designed to explore one of the most controversial and mysterious weapons ever imagined: psychic abilities. It all began in the early 1970s, when intelligence reports began to surface that the Soviet Union was spending vast resources on researching psychic phenomena: telepathy, remote viewing, mind control. These weren't the stuff of fiction, but active areas of Soviet research. Fearing that they might be falling behind in a potential new frontier of warfare, the US decided to launch their own investigation into the power of the mind. The US military was concerned that if the Soviets could weaponize psychic abilities, it would open up a whole new kind of espionage and warfare, one they were not prepared for. The stakes were too high to ignore. And so, in the early 1970s, the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency began what would become one of the strangest, most secretive programs in US military history: Operation Stargate. The Soviets had allegedly achieved breakthroughs in what they called psychotronic research. These experiments focused on manipulating the human mind to influence distant objects, perceive remote locations, and even control thoughts. Reports claim the Soviets were training soldiers with psychic abilities for intelligence gathering and even military applications. Fearing that the Soviets might gain a psychic edge, the US decided to fight fire with fire. Stargate's primary goal was to create psychic spies, individuals who could remotely view distant locations, providing intelligence from behind enemy lines without ever leaving the room. At its core, Stargate sought to harness remote viewing, a supposed ability to see distant places or objects through extrasensory perception. With funding from the CIA, the military began testing individuals who claimed to possess this extraordinary ability. And the results? Well, they were more surprising than you might think. During its 2 decades of operation, Stargate conducted hundreds of experiments with subjects who claimed to possess psychic abilities. These remote viewers were asked to describe locations, objects, and even events occurring thousands of miles away. Some of the results were startling. In one famous case, a remote viewer was asked to describe the location of a downed Soviet bomber. With eerie precision, they sketched the area, helping intelligence agencies locate the wreckage. In another instance, remote viewers were able to describe secret military installations deep within Soviet territory. As per former Stargate operatives, at first there were moments, undeniable moments, when the information provided by remote viewers was shockingly accurate. It's hard to explain. It defied what they understood about human perception. However, the results were inconsistent. For every successful remote viewing, there were many more failures. While some reports were accurate, others were wildly off the mark. And therein lay the challenge. As the Cold War neared its end, interest in psychic warfare began to wane. The US government was pouring millions of dollars into Operation Stargate, but the inconsistent results made it difficult to justify the cost. Skeptics within the military and intelligence agencies questioned the validity of the program. By the early 1990s, the CIA ordered a comprehensive review of Stargate. The findings were clear. While there were occasional successes, the majority of the information obtained through remote viewing was either too vague or too unreliable to be of significant use. In 1995, after more than 2 decades of research, Operation Stargate was officially shut down. The program's closure was part of a broader trend of cutting unnecessary spending, as the Cold War had ended and the urgency for psychic warfare diminished. Operation Stargate was officially classified as a failure, but it left behind a lasting legacy. The mere fact that the US military seriously invested time and resources into psychic phenomena continues to spark debates to this day. Many ask, what if there was more to Stargate than we've been told? Was it really shut down, or did it simply go deeper underground? While the truth remains elusive, one thing is certain: Operation Stargate represents one of the strangest, most mysterious chapters in US military history. Psychic spies, remote viewing, mind control. These may sound like the stuff of science fiction, but for over 20 years they were very real, very secret, and at the heart of US military intelligence. So what do you believe? Comment